with the engine back out of the way, you can see a little bit more of the mocked up intermediate plates for the Coyote installed. The motor mounts sit back approximately here with the attaching bolts on each side about pointing there. The idea being the engine slides in this way and the bolts slide in here, and I'm going to add a slotted plate here so I can still attach the bolts without interfering with the engine and transmission sliding in to the back. Right now this just has 2 bolts, this one has 3, which is really plenty to locate the plate. I'm going to add another one here for this one and maybe get another one there. We'll see, just to make sure there's not too much cantilever work on it. Big block plates used to sit in this area here, but the big block mounts were square to that instead of being as far back as the Coyote. Here you see the Saginaw 800 box, which is going to be the source of all the fun and excitement. For the header on this side, as you can see over here, things are pretty much wide open. Looks like I got to replace some of the DEI stuff that's been in there for a long time, protecting both hot and ground cables where they connect to the starter onto the battery. Down underneath, you can see both the exhaust. The shiny thing you see up above the exhaust is, of course, the rear end pinion. And then here you can see the cantilever mount we built back in the day for the T56, in which we're reusing, where you see those blocks to hold up the rear of the transmission, because it has to go well back of where the stock location would have been, where you see those stock mounts that are part of the unibody there. Much like the C6 mount would have been straight across. You can see how much further back we've had to go. I'll show more detail from under the car, but this gives you an idea. Also, you're seeing here some of the modifications made over the years to stiffen the front of this inherently unstiff car. So some aero chromoly tubing here that stiffens to the anti-sway bar mount. The stiffening bars here on the shock towers. Again, this upper part of the shock tower is all original down to here. This part's original. We just reshaped this area down in here a little bit. Some little stiffening bits and pieces. There's some extra tube and plate welded down in there. Same goes here on the other side. The lateral stiffeners that also stiffen for the strut mounts on both sides. Then the tubes and the supports for the shock towers here. The additional stiffening tube here. These brackets there. There's some smoothing done back in the day for the big headers. And you can see these take up a lot less room because I'm no longer using the factory stamped upper control arms. Instead, we're using these Total Control Products upper control arms. So this gives you an idea of the still funky looking area in the engine compartment. Once we got everything figured out and mocked up and done, we're going to repaint all this, clean it up, clean up the wiring to do the Coyote wiring, and those will be some of the next steps.